Let's get into the footy in the news today. We wake up today and we'll get into the weekend review in a moment. But Jack Wighton, he said, you know what, I'm going to stay at home and watch Origin on the television if he was going to be selected, James Graham. I've got a feeling he was have to be some part of the 17 for New South Wales. But what do you make of players who are a bit on in years making the call themselves that they don't want a part of it?
Well, he's only 30. And I think it was last year's series where he was noticeable by his absence when he didn't play in those games.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were screaming out for Jack Wighton to play. I think if you look at the list of potential players for New South Wales, like Jack's probably, you go, oh yeah, you got to find a space for him. But then, you know, if you look at the centre situation, you've got Latrell Mitchell, you've got Tommy Trbojevic, two fullbacks that are going to come into the centres. Then perhaps maybe Stephen Crichton, that would be ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got, okay, well, does he come on at the 14 role? Well, you can't have Nico Hines and Jack Wighton on the bench.
Would you have Nico at 6?
Well, potentially.
Well, the other bloke who's in the mix for a bench spot, so maybe Damien Cook or Uppy Coruscant as well, you know.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't have Jack either. So
yeah. So, like, is he definitely making the team? I don't know if you can say that with 100% accuracy. I guess for me, I love my representative football. Like, I loved it. I never wanted to give that up while I was still active. And look, it's very lucrative for Jack. I guess it stops the talk around, you know, people picking potential teams now. But this is going to feed the narrative of there's no way a Queenslander would do it. Yeah. Like, that's all it's going to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we know this. Like, so Jamie Lyon, when he stepped away from representative football, he didn't want to play for New South Wales. That fed it. You know, Latrell Mitchell last year saying, I'm not making myself available for, was it game 2 or game 3 with his hamstring injury?
Coming back from, yeah.
Because he was coming back, and, you know, like, end of last year's series, it means more to Queenslanders. And that's all we're going to hear now.
Well, there was no way in the world he would have missed game 3. I remember watching that and thinking, not to wish physical ill on rugby league players, but thinking if there's another HIA here, we're a chance of getting Jack Wighton onto the field because he was 18th.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a tailor-made game for a player like him. It wasn't free, expansive play. It was tough, straight running. And it was one of those, I felt like as a New South Wales fan, it was one of those, James, if Jack Wighton was playing for Queensland, he would have been playing in this game in the 17.
He's got a lot going on in his life at the moment, Jack. He's obviously got his future to resolve. You know, we floated this on Saturday, on the Saturday show, actually that Jack was considering pulling out of rep footy. It was doing the rounds. Had been doing the rounds for a while, actually. And I think he'd raised it with Freddie, but he only confirmed it with Freddie yesterday. But I thought it showed on Sunday that there's a lot going on, because I can't remember Jack Wighton playing too many games as bad as I've seen him play on Sunday. I thought he was not quiet, Jimmy. I thought he was really poor, Jack, on Sunday, which is something you never say about Jack Wighton. Jack Wighton rarely, if ever, plays a bad game. I thought he had he was lucky he didn't cost him that game in the end.
Yeah,
or at least bring St. George back into it. I thought he had a really poor game, Jack, at the weekend, which, as I said, it doesn't happen often. So he's got a lot going on in his life at the moment. You know, he wants to focus, he says, on his on club footy and his family. Which club that is, nobody knows at the moment. But
where's it heading?
Well, all the whispers are that he's leaving.
Well,
really?
Does this confirm that?
He's leaving?
So really, if you were staying, you would you make this announcement? Like, I'm trying to think from a player's hat here. Like, if I knew in my head that I was going to be staying at Canberra, I'd know it's sorted, right? So I've ticked that box. But I think this sort of leads in. The follow-up story from this is he must be moving on.
I think it lends credence to, there's a theory going around that Jack wants to change, and I think it lends credence to that theory because, you know, one change is pulling himself out of rep footy, the other change is changing where you play. So that's a theory doing the rounds at the moment, that Jack just wants, you know, to get away from it and try something different. So, you know, from that perspective, maybe it lends a little bit of weight to that theory that he's going to leave Canberra.
Yeah, I think it does. For me, though, look, like I say, I love representative football, and obviously Jack has got his reasons and he can have his justifications for it. But personally, I think if your state or your country comes calling,
What's it like,
you
James?
shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should. I remember speaking with Adrian Morley, and he said, I'll never retire from internationals. Like, I'm always available.
Yeah.
So even like now at the ripe old age of whatever, mid 40s.
Like Dale Shearer.
I still would run it.
He'd say, look, if you need me, I'll do a job.
Yeah, I bet he would.
And I was like, wow, like that's
yeah.
very
what did you
powerful.
do, Jimmy? Were you always available at the end? I can't remember. You were, weren't you?
I knew I was retiring that season. I'd already said I was going to retire in season 2021 or 2020, and then because I'd already said they made an announcement, England Rugby League made an announcement that I'd retired from international football. But my last,
Did you actually tell them
I was
to
kind
do
of
that?
like, this is a bit weird. Like, of course I am, because I'm retiring at the end of the year from the game, full stop. Well, from playing anyway. But no, the last few years there was no, because the COVID stuff. Rep football was off the cards. Whether or not I'd have been picked, I don't know. But it's a difficult one, I guess. Well, no, it's not difficult. I would have found a way to make it work. Yeah, it's taxing on the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it affects other areas of your life. But for me, there's like that feeling of representing your country, and obviously for Jack for his state. I just hope he doesn't regret this.
He's always seemed to take great pride in it too. I mean, he was amazing on the Kangaroo Tour, Jack White.
Yeah.
I thought he had a great tour for Australia, and that's another offshoot of this, right? He won't play for the Kangaroos anymore. Won't play international footy anymore, and
Maybe he wanted to end it by winning a World
win a
Cup.
World Cup. Maybe that's another part to it.
No, not you don't announce you're finishing representative football halfway through, or 7 rounds into a season,
6 months after the last.
6 months after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like, you'd make that decision on the spot there and then, or in the days and weeks after it. This isn't a reaction to that.
Just on a player's perspective about his overall future, James, what's it like getting around as a player? I don't know if you were ever in this situation, off contract, had a choice to make. So it's not only you're talking to your family and friends and manager and the club that you're at and prospective clubs, but it's going down to get some milk and bread, and the guy behind the counter says, even if that person doesn't say anything, he's thinking, oh, geez, I wonder where he's going, where he's playing. So it's everywhere you walk, everywhere you're recognised.
Yeah, and Jack, it comes with the territory, and Jack will have Canberra fans come, please stay, mate, we need you, we love you, and he has to face that, and obviously until his decision's made, he'll face those questions every time. Like, players are up now every 2 weeks, really. Every fortnight. Like, a player is. Every contracted NRL player is available for media interviews.
Doesn't always work that way. Jimmy.
No,
some get shielded away.
Yeah, some of them do, but that's another issue for another day. But really, and Jack Wighton, every time he's playing, he'll have the camera and the microphone from TV and radio. Any news on your future? Because we all want it. We all want to know.
Does it give you the shits?
Well,
it's got to, doesn't it?
It can be frustrating. Okay, I've already answered this question. And you got to remember, so like people that work on the weekend, they're not watching every single thing that happens in the week and going, mate, I already answered this.
Yeah.
I've already told you last week. And that can become a frustration, but it's, I think players are now a little bit more accepting that it's part of the job description. I guess a little caveat to this is when you're in a position like this, you can be very reflective on who you trust, and you can almost be over paranoid about what you say and to who, because what they're going to do with that information. So, Jack, even with his team, even with your teammates, like, so when I was leaving Canterbury to go to the Dragons, like most people knew it was happening through rumor and innuendo, but then so it was coming to me, and then once I'd made a decision, I kind of was like very cautious of who I would say what to, because I don't know, like even things like not being able to, I'd not told my parents yet, and then it's leaking out, and you're like, geez, I've got to be careful who I trust here. So that'll be on Jack's mind as well. So it changes your natural personality. You can't naturally have a flowing conversation just in case you slip up. And...
Yeah, well, Reedy, I'm actually I've kept it secret from you, but I'm actually joining the PGA Tour. So,
oh well, you're playing off 5. Good luck.
Yeah. I'll be back here in 2 weeks.
I mean, it's a bit different for Jack as well because small like Canberra's not a. It's not like living in Sydney, right? I mean, imagine Jack every time he goes out, someone's probably hitting him up saying, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
The flip side of that is he lives on some acreage. So once Jack leaves training, I think he goes back to the acreage
and talk to the cows and talk
through
it with them.
The cows are probably asking him what he's doing. So, but you can't in towns like that, one team towns, you can't escape it.
Hey guys, ripping contest on Saturday evening up in Newcastle. The Knights played out of their skin with bodies down again. They still haven't got Kalen back, and they push Penrith all the way. Now, what's been said about the Golden Point situation, don't know if you want to add or whatever, but that's not my point. Picked out Ivan Cleary's statement after it saying, not being disrespectful to Newcastle, but that was our worst performance of the season, or along those lines. Is that actually, even though he's not intending it to, and I know Ivan, he's not that type of character, is that pretty disrespectful to Newcastle? You know what I mean? Who played out of there?
I don't think so. It wasn't one of their better performances. And the flip side of that is the Knights, I thought, were magnificent. Very unlucky not to win that footy game. But I think Ivan's right. I don't think it was one of Penrith's best performances of the year. They've been a bit scratchy at times this year, Penrith. When they put it together, they looked really good. But early on in the season in particular, they were a bit scratchy. I thought this was another scratchy game for them. So I think he's spot on. But a lot of that was because Newcastle hassled them and pressured them and
their energy was incredible.
Exactly. Put their intensity was so high, it forced a lot of those mistakes from Penrith. But I don't think Ivan was. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful. I don't think it was particularly disrespectful to them.
No, I don't either. I just think it's
just that brutally honest.
That was the message to his players.
Yeah.
So if you're a Newcastle fan, Newcastle player, I should say, James, and you hear that the day after, you go,
I mean, you'd probably be thinking, look, well, that was because we made you play bad. We were the reason behind why you were so poor. We forced you into mistakes, and we hung on in there. And perhaps you didn't come with the same attitude as you didn't pack the same attitude as what you usually do. But no, I think it's just that message is for the Penrith Panthers and the playing squad to say, like, we went on our best today, but it's when you're not at your best and you still get the results like that really could have gone away from. But that's the type of result that, it's just 2 points. But then when you look back in September and all those little things add up, and you go, good job we got that one against Newcastle, because we're down 2 points there instead of being third or fourth or in the top 4.
Well, it could be the difference between them resting players like they did, was it last season in the last round?
Yeah, and they all add up. And Penrith, generally speaking, they do come out on top because of that man, Nathan Cleary. They had toe-to-toe in Newcastle in the game against Parramatta, where they lost in Golden Point, I believe it was, or on the Bell. So it's important that Penrith get those wins because that will help them leading into finals.
I love the way we talk about Nathan Cleary, right? After that game, we go, the Iceman. Never misses. He missed 2, didn't he? Like the law of averages said he was going to get a couple of them. He got 2 out of 4.
But it's still
50%. I'm not bagging the guy. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm just saying he missed a couple as well, which, suggests his radar wasn't exactly.
Well, it literally had to be him, though, for Penrith, because there's not many others in that team that can.
And if you give him enough chances, he will get you in the end. He's just that good a player. But he did miss a couple.
Appears to be a different Newcastle, though.
Oh,
how flaky have they been for the last couple of seasons? That doesn't. And I know we're only not even a third of the way through.
Completely
the season.
Different team this year.
Yeah,
just found some grit and some resilience, which they didn't have last year. When you got on top of Newcastle last year, they capitulated. But this year they've just shown some fight.
They have really. That's the correct word. They've got some fight in them. They've got some pride in their performance. It seems like they've bought into something.
Yeah,
you can see it means a lot more to the players than what it did last year.
Here's a question for you, Jimmy. Kalen's back this week.
Play him.
He comes straight in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
as long as he's fit.
Yeah,
of course.
6. You keep Lockie Miller back there.
Oh, you can't move Lockie Miller.
No, you can't. There was chat yesterday around maybe moving Lockie Miller to one of the wings. But no.
Kalen wants to play 6.
That's it. That's the important thing. I guess, I think with Caelan's situation at the moment, leave him at 6.
Yeah.
Put him back in at 6. Tyson Gamble's a great competitor, but he's no Caelan Ponga. I think, if you're going to move someone around, you move Tyson Gamble to the bench and have him come on at lock and start the game. I think what you do if you're Newcastle, you start the game with 3 genuine middle forwards, go hard, and then the style of play can change when Tyson Gamble comes on at 13, 20, 25 minutes in, and we start to see almost like a Kurt Mann style role where lots of ball movement, that play where he'd be one off the ruck, and then there's lead shape and out the back to Caelan or to his halves partner in Jackson Hastings.
It's the key though for Caelan, not so much where he is when Newcastle have the ball, but where they position him defensively. And would you put him between 2 of your best defenders, or make sure your best defender is inside him to help him out in any way, shape, or form?
Well, look, teams are not going to have any sympathy whatsoever for this situation. They're not going to you can talk about easing players back in. The opposition won't. So we're starting to see it happen at the Roosters now, where teams are really starting to target their 3 in defenders. So I'll be interested to see if Coach Robinson makes the move with defensive structure. And you can move when you're in a yardage defense, or when the opposition are coming out of yardage, it's easier to move those 3 in defenders to defend on the wing.
I was going to say, is that realistic, Jimmy, that he could defend on the wing, Caelan? Is it?
Well, yes and no. So I think when the opposition is coming out of yardage, you can. So you can hide on the wing, so you can stop the opposition getting cheap meters from targeting the smaller guys, those 3 in defenders. Usually so if you imagine the touch line, then you've got your winger, your centre, and then your half. That's where they usually are, 3 in. When you're defending a team coming out of yardage, you could swap that 3 and go to the wing and then shuffle everybody back in one. Yep. But then when it comes to good ball, because of the shape that opposition throw at you, I don't think he could be last man of the line. So he's not experienced enough at turning for kicks, and he's not experienced enough at coming up and in to jam and shut down, players like Caelan Ponga when they sweep out the back. So that's a very crucial role, and a tactical awareness and game awareness of the modern day wingers these days. So I think you can when the other team's coming out of yardage, but not when the other team's in good ball and throwing those type of shapes at you.
Is he back this weekend against
the
Cowboys?
It's a big game. It's his 100th game against his old club in Townsville. And he's back. Well, all reports are he'll be back, and he'll be named tomorrow.
Fair enough. It's time for our WTF moment of the week.
Now, the WTF moment.
You going to take the first hit up here?
There you go. Go for it.
I still cannot believe, and I was there 4 rows back, and I nearly caught his spleen. I still cannot believe Justin Olam got up.
Unbelievable.
He went off.
Well, he didn't
and
get
fair
up
enough
very
too.
well.
He didn't get up very well. But for him to be able to actually have the capability to run back out there and partake in the rest of the game when his HIA was done after that hit from Hamoli and also O'Shea Aloe on the inside. There might have been a touch. There was a hint of elbow about it from Joshua Rosie's elbow, and maybe that was the glance across Justin's face. But that was one of the biggest hits I've ever seen live. My goodness. Were you guys there? Were you
No,
there
I
on
wasn't
the night?
there, but I was watching it. And
You heard the sound. I was a good 50 metres away from it, and you heard the air go out of Justin. It's one of those, like a tyre puncturing. It's like bang. It's incredible.
There were players all over the NRL going, yes. Whatever.
He still got up. Fair play, Justin Olam. I don't know how the hell he did it.
He's still in credit a fair bit, Justin Olam, up front.
He sure is. Like that was the amount of force that was generated in that collision.
Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness me! Can you imagine him peeling himself off the hotel bedroom
the next day?
Of the bed the next day. Like, that would be sore on a whole new level.
What's the biggest hit you've ever copped in your life that you can just springs to mind? You go, yeah. I remember getting tagged by this. Did you ever run into Adrian Morley?
I can remember. You know what? I ran into a very old Steve Menzies.
Oh yeah.
And I thought
Beaver.
Grandad here, who's playing for Catalans at the time, like
Technique.
and he just picked me up
Really?
and folded me, and I was like,
Got you right there in the middle.
oh yeah, got right underneath me, and I was like,
The Beaver.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah,
Ew.
yeah.
Did you get up and say that?
I was really annoyed at myself. Yeah, you got me good.
Do you want to go next or?
No, I'm gonna have to rethink of one because that was my
Oh,
WTF
sorry.
moment. That so I'll let you go, mate, and then I'll come back to the drawing
I was going
board.
to go with the hair pull because I thought that was outrageous. Unless you want that, Jimmy.
No, you can take that.
That was that penalty for the hair pull in the Knights game on Jerome Luai. I think it was it Tyson? Was it Tyson Frizzell? I can't remember now. Off the
yeah,
top of my
yes,
head.
it was,
Tyson Frizzell, who is enjoying. Got to say, Tyson's had some tough years, but he's been fantastic this year.
he
Tyson
has.
Frizzell, but that penalty, like, he didn't deliberately grab his hair. He was trying to grab his jersey, and he got a lot of jersey. He just got some hair with it. And I think Adam O'Brien had a point afterwards. He said, "Well, I'll just tell all my players to grow their hair long."
Of those we can.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe you got to start making guys wear hair nets. You know, there's hair nets that wear in the
Oh,
restaurants.
they're working at
If you got
Macca's.
long hair, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, it is a health and safety issue.
Yeah, you got to wear a hair net. Well, that's the only way to make it fair.
Or you pay the price. I think that should have been left to the match review committee to say like whether or not it's a hair pull or
You
not.
don't like my hair net, do you?
Grade
I
one.
mean-
grade one hair pull.
No hair.
It's got
or
like,
if you don't have long hair, you got to have a man bun.
Then you have to do
So
a
they
barista
can't
course.
grab the back of your hair. Huh? You got to get the. They grab here. Well, you know that's a
Too
deliberate
high.
thing.
No,
What do you think?
I'm with you, Reddy. That wasn't a penalty. It's there. Surely there's some form of rule that says you
Yeah.
can't hair pull if you have the option. Like if he's gone on the ground and just grabbed it because he's giving him the irrits or whatever like that, fair enough. But that was a
but in
complete
the
accident.
tackle, yeah, it was a complete accident.
Can I have a consolation WTF?
Yeah,
It's a
go,
golf
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Rory McIlroy
yeah,
fined $3 million this week for not playing in a golf tournament.
Yeah, good.
$3 million.
good.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Because he refused to play. He went home after his shocking
pulled out,
performance
yeah.
at the Masters.
crack the sads.
He didn't play. $3 million he's going to
He
forfeit.
it's like
It's a lot of money, Jimmy.
It's like you losing $20 on the way up here.
it is.
It's fine.
Drop in the ocean. Yeah,
You'll be
okay.
all right.
Okay, forget about that. Ignore that one.
It'll be fine.
All right, my
Yeah.
WTF moment. I was thinking about going with Dane Gay guy and him swearing out
Oh.
loud, but I think we've already touched on this. But one thing that it's a bit of a soft WTF. Ronaldo Mulatalo's try and Jared Salmon's try. So, in my opinion, a player has run around one of their own teammates in the build-up to both those tries.
Mm.
Now, they didn't interfere with the play, but they've ran around the players, and we see stereotypically, over the past couple of seasons, whenever that happens, a player will just drop.
Well, you can't take advantage. Once you've run around with the ball, that's the rule, isn't it? If you have the ball in your hand, you run around one of your teammates in front of you, you can't take advantage from that. You've got to stop.
Well, it happened in Mulatalo's try,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened in Jared Salmon's try. So I don't know. Look, I personally would like to see them both be given, but it's just interested I'm interested to know why they weren't looked at and why they weren't deemed obstruction penalties.
Wonder if that'll be in Graham Annesley's 40-minute sermon
It's
on
on right
a
now.
Monday.
Just started.
Do you ever sit through those?
I used to, but we're here now,
Ooh.
so I can't.
No, I went to look at it the other day when there was a controversial one a couple of weeks ago.
How was it?
And I went, I'll have a look at this. And then I opened up
Take
the file.
some
It was
no-dos
like,
before you.
it was like
jumped
40
on it?
minutes. And I went, you know what? I don't care about it that much.
Yeah,
It's gone.
Yeah.
We'll just
Maybe that's why he does it.
go.
that just tells you how many things are getting wrong. If it's got to go for 40 minutes, doesn't it?
Exactly. Happy, though, for Aaron Woods.
Oh,
Woodsy,
wow.
who I wanted him to be here today, but he's obviously again at Macca's
Yeah.
with Siebes. That there was a Manly fan sitting in front of me, and I think for a very long time they've given it to Woodsy. Very long time. And all of a sudden, like Woodsy, they were calling him Sharon, okay? Sharon Woods, which I thought was completely disrespectful. But by the end of it was like Rocky IV, when Rocky goes to Moscow, and he's hated, but by the end of the movie, he's loved.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Woodsy by full time. It was fantastic.
He nearly scored as well.
He
didn't
did, did score.
wow.
That was a.
That
how-
wasn't
that's
a
not
try. That's not a try.
The
That's not a
Jerome
try.
Hughes one.
No, he
Yeah.
he forced it with
Yeah.
the back of his hand.
Yeah, there's
You
downward.
thought it was a try?
No, I'm
No,
saying
no.
downward pressure.
No.
Yeah.
That's a crap rule.
He was pumped, old Woodsy, about that try.
Anywhere
too,
else on
wasn't
the
he? Or
field, that's a
non-try.
knock on.
Yeah.
Anywhere else on the field. Anyway, good on Woodsy.
Like, hey, glass houses and all that, but
Mm.
Woodsy in the rain with the long hair. I saw him check himself out on
He
the
did-
screen and comb
he
it
did
back
comb-
over real quick while he was celebrating.
Quickly.
Oh.
Mind you, he has gone from the Dragons to Manly, so he should be pretty happy, really, shouldn't he? Should
Yeah.
be doing cartwheels around the field, not running the ball.
Bellamy, is this going on a bit? Question without notice. It's not on the rundown. Is it dragging on a little
His
bit
future?
about what he's doing? Usually it's sorted by now, is it
No,
not?
it drags on every year.
No, I
This is
know
what
it
he
drags
does
on every year.
He drags it on.
But usually by the Anzac Day game, we've got a
Yeah.
bit of knowledge about what he's doing.
Well, I think their view is they're happy to give him I know in his contract he's got a certain cut-off date. I think it's the start of March. But they're happy to, I don't know why they put it in, because whenever it comes around, they're just happy to let him go until
Pretend-
he's comfortable. Because their view is, while there's a 1% chance he may coach again, we're not going to force him to make a decision because there's a chance he may go around again.
Yeah.
So they won't push him. They're not rushing him. This could, he's got a documentary crew following him. The guy who did the test. And it's the same guy I think it was 2 years ago he followed him around when he went through a similar thing.
Adrian Brown. Yeah.
And he had to scrap it 2 years ago. And he's going through it again this year. Can you imagine if Bellyache turns around and says, I might go on one more year?
Yeah.
He'll be filthy, that bloke.
No, he'll be right.
Apparently he's amazing. He's been there the whole time. He's in meetings, and they reckon you don't even notice he's there. They said it's ridiculous.
Well, they do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I know Adrian I've known him for a very long time, and we've spoken as well about doing an Origin one because he's AFL, so he knows Melbourne backwards, and he's done the test and he's done AFL docos and things like that. He does the front bar, that was his
Mick Malloy
idea.
show.
Yeah, the Mick Malloy show, Triple M's very own.
Yep.
And he talked about doing an Origin one, but rugby, the NRL keeps on blocking. Wayne Bennett, obviously, famously a couple of years ago, blocked cameras from being involved in Origin.
I'd stay on that, though. The NRL are keen. Andrew Abdo's keen to do that.
A doco on that, you got his number? A doco on that would take rugby league. That would be the sole property of rugby league that they could take to a Netflix or an Amazon to say, this is our game, this is what it's like. And it might, if you do it right, it might draw in, not saying it's going to have the appeal of Drive to Survive, which is transformed Formula One and people who follow it. But for an audience that doesn't know rugby league, to get into rugby league, that would be...
Well, if you're not doing that stuff now, you're left behind. I mean, the PGA Tour is doing it now. I think Andrew Abdo's keen. I think he can see the value in it, and he'd be keen to do it. So I'd stay on that. I'd stay on him.
Those sports documentaries are sensational. Like, talk about the fight nights from UFC.
Yeah.
Like it's all part of the build up now. The same with the boxing match. You watch an episode of that and you're like, I feel like I know these guys and I want to see them fight. Like, let's go. Even Sunderland till I die. I couldn't care about Sunderland, but then all of a sudden I was like, oh.
Have you watched the Wrexham one?
No, I haven't.
That is good.
Have you watched it? Yeah.
The Wrexham one's good.
No, that's got a little bit of Hollywood to it, though.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
The way they've made it. Yeah,
Okay.
they get to the heart of it. Well, that part of Wales. It's not that far from where you grew up, and it's working class
All right, okay.
down to the ground. And they've
Give it a go, Jimmy.
I'll
give it a chance,
give it a
mate.
go. I'll
But
give it a go.
rugby league needs to do something like that because
Also, you wouldn't be watching the football at the moment, would you? Because Everton's...
Okay, let's. It's a rugby league show, really. Okay, all right, let's stick with that.
relocation battle.
On a serious note, like a warts and all style documentary, I think if they're going to do it, both teams have to do it. So you have to have
of course.
it because
Yeah.
coaches are really protective of the inside information and what's said at halftime. They don't like giving too much away. Like they're scared that it's gonna something that is said is gonna lead to consequences later on down the track. But I think.
But now's the time to strike, Jimmy, because you've got two coaches who understand the
TV
value
savvy.
of the media.
Yeah, I think that perhaps in the past there's been far too much paranoia around media, but like you say, in Billy Slater and Fittler, you got two coaches that are happy and pretty much an open book. And I think as well, does it really affect the team's performance? Like
Not
at Origin, I've been involved in video sessions where we get one video, one clip, and it's an opposition player doing something stupid. I'm like, right, okay, we're on. Like, we know what we need to do, but surely
Well, you give the coaches, with things like this, you give the coaches veto on tactical information that's in it or massive sprays that people have been given. The test was one such example, but it was unique in the sense that we'd never seen the inner workings of the Australian cricket team before. So it's a bit like this with Origin. We've never seen the inner workings of Origin. Back to Bellamy, though. Is there groundwork behind the scenes with the fullback? Because they don't want to get to June, surely Melbourne, and go, oh, we're stuffed here.
Well, I don't think they would be for a couple of reasons. One, I think Jason Riles. So the guys who'd be in the mix are Billy. I know that Billy won't do it, though. So you basically got Mark Brentnell and Jason Riles. They're probably your two leading contenders. Riles is obviously in the mix for St George. I don't think he'll go there. So I think he's still going to be available. And Mark Brentnell, I think, will be available. So I think they're okay. I don't think they really need to panic and fast track things away from Craig. I think they can wait because the guys who would be in the mix will probably still be around.
Why won't they go? Why won't Rolsey take St George?
That's just the mail. I don't know how accurate it is. That's the whisper. Sorry, the whisper.
Yeah, the whisper. Because we've got Reedy's mail a bit later. It's a big return.
Yeah.
Build it up.
Okay.
So it's a big one for Melbourne, and it's a big one for the person that. And we've spoken about this before, James, about who takes over because it's shoes.
I think
large.
Going back to Jason Riles, he's not in a position where he'd need to take the Dragons job. And so I think perhaps some coaches that they are, and Riles would play a similar card to Craig Fitzgibbon, where he goes, I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait because he realises that there's a huge potential upside at the Dragons, huge potential upside if everything falls into play. But perhaps he's looking at that situation and going, not yet.
But look at Andrew Webster. Like similar kind of. You go, oh, do you want to go to the Warriors? Do you want to be the guy to finally fix the Warriors? Looks like he could be.
Well, to be fair though, with Andrew Webster, like, would he get much opportunity anywhere else?
Yeah.
Like he was presented an opportunity and he's gone, I'm going after that, and he's made it work. But I don't know if those opportunities for Andrew Webster would be so forthcoming over here. There wouldn't be many of them where Riles knows he's in a position I can wait. He'd be happy to wait it out, knowing that more opportunities will come their way at perhaps some clubs that have a greater chance of success and sustainability.
Yesterday's game between Canberra and St George Illawarra, about the only thing good about it was the exciting finish. Yeah. With all due respect to it, it didn't quite reach the heights of some of the other footy that we saw on the weekend. But again, and it happens at the end of first halves as well. And I've got an idea.
Oh, this is your idea.
Yeah, this is the idea.
Here we go.
So the last minute of play, it gets into less than a minute to go, and you see it, and Hudson Young did it yesterday, and he laid all over a St George player like it was the stacks on you have at the end of lunch, basically. He just lay there for a good 10 seconds, went to the bin, which is fair enough. But I would like to see, that takes valuable seconds off. So it just negates the time that Dragons had to try and come up with something to win the game, which they obviously didn't. I would like to see, if it's inside the last minute, if you get a 6 again, you get that entire 6, regardless of when the siren goes. Thoughts?
It's intriguing.
It's a bit like, I know, James, a couple of weeks ago you said we can't be like rugby union, but this is a little like rugby union, which they play until after the hooter, until the ball's dead. Now, I would like to see that come into play because it takes away the players lying all over the ruck and, just slowing everything down and giving away a repeat set for the sake of it. So,
yeah, it would. I think our game's exciting enough as it is.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't mess with it.
Just throw it up there.
I think there's merit in it.
Yeah, there's merit in it, but I think, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we need more rule changes. Let's just keep it as is for a bit.
Ready, there'll be another 10 before the end of the year anyway. So
That's
what's this
possibly true. Yeah. No, but I think there's some merit in that.
Yeah, there is definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it just annoys me when different things annoy different people.
Instead of doing the 6 agains, they should just give a penalty, and the game keeps going anyway.
Yeah, but the hooter eventually goes. What I'm saying is, if you
give a penalty, and then they run it again and I suppose they get held down, the game's dead, isn't it?
I want I want a full set of 6,
Yeah.
regardless of when the hooter goes.
Yeah.
But the beauty of our game is you're playing for 80 minutes.
Unless it goes to Golden Point.
Unless it goes to Golden Point,
Quick one on the Broncos as well, and Broncos Titans. You spoke about it obviously on the weekend, but geez, the Broncos have some spark, don't they? At the moment, the key to them will be when they get through Origin, and some of the younger players who will be involved in Origin for the second or third time, how they're going to come through it. But far out, have they got some? They can be destructive very, very quickly.
They can. I think the Gold Coast Titans let them off the hook a little bit, though.
Yeah.
And,
What, Tino Sinbin or?
Tino Sinbin, a couple of breakaway tries. The Jaden Campbell kick just before half-time. There was another breakaway try, the soft Ricky try to begin the game.
They might be all right during Origin. They may not lose Reece Walsh because Kalen might be fullback.
So Ben Hunt will be there 14.
They might lose Cobbo.
Yeah, they'll lose him for sure.
And then Paddy Carrigan and Payne Haas. And that might be about it.
Really?
Well,
Capewell.
Katoni's nice.
Capewell?
I suppose Capewell, yeah, he might be the other one. And maybe Flegler. But they mightn't be too hammered. I mean, Katoni's no certainty to play. Not their halves won't play. As I said, Reece Walsh maybe.
Yeah, so their spine's still intact.
I think Billy will be loyal to Kalen. I think if Kalen's fit, he'll pick Kalen.
Yeah.
And Reece will be part of the
That'd be
extended
something
squad.
New South Wales would do, not pick him.
True.
Queensland would pick him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and they've probably got Ben Hunt as their 14, so
Exactly.
Reece doesn't fit in. But far out the way that kid goes, you can't be too far off.
It's good to be a Queenslander, Adam.
All right, here we go. Of course. Well, on that note, let's get to your mail.
Reedy's mail.
Let's start with those Dragons, those ugly Dragons from yesterday, because I think a lot of people watched that game and thought, there's a big board meeting on Tuesday where the club's going to discuss the future of the coach. They're going to have basically a list of coaches put to them because the CEO's been exploring their options. I'm told we won't see anything out of Tuesday. Anthony Griffin will not be sacked on Tuesday. They will not make a conscious decision to move on from him on Tuesday. Nothing has changed after the game at the weekend as we sit here right now.
So the mail is there'll be no mail out of
So
Tuesday's
the mail
mail.
is we don't expect any mail out of Tuesday.
Because it's just a regular scheduled board meeting.
Regular scheduled board meeting, but the coach is on. The coach will be discussed.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
And the coaching situation will be discussed. The options will be discussed. But at this stage, I don't think there'll be any formal decision to move on from Anthony Griffin on Tuesday.
It's extraordinary that we know what's going to happen with the Dragons. There's that many leaks at that joint that we know what's going to happen before it even happens.
I'm not saying that may not change, though, because they were pretty poor on Sunday.
Yeah, Coach Griffin ain't going to be there in 2024.
No.
He's not.
No.
We know that.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin's more likely to be the coach next year.
So why wouldn't you then, Jimmy? Why wouldn't you have that board meeting Tuesday? We all know he's not going to be there. Why wouldn't they let him know as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Anthony, we're going to bring in a new coach next year.
Bit of respect for the guy.
Stay if you want. You can stay, finish the year. We'd like you to stay and finish the year. Why wouldn't you just rip the Band-Aid off?
Well, they did that last year with their assistants, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that didn't end well.
But I mean, everyone can see it. Right?
I know.
No one can see him.
I guess that would then be a call for Huck whether or not he wanted to continue on. I think he would because he's coaching for his future, so he'd want to he'd want to show that he's still capable of coaching at this level. I guess then it comes down to who they're going to bring in. A, are they available now? And B, do they want to start now?
I don't think any of them are available now. Any of the options. Well, the only ones, mate, Des would be available now, but I don't think they're going to go down that path. So the other guys, the other options, none of them are available now. So they would need either Anthony to stay the season or a guy like Ryan Carr to step up.
Yeah, that's probably why they're doing it then, aren't they? They perhaps realise that whoever they're going to get won't be coming till November 1 next year.
What else is in your overflowing mailbox?
So we spoke about Jackie Wighton earlier. I actually rang Mel Meninga today about Jack Wighton because obviously Jack rang Brad Fitley yesterday to let him know he wasn't playing rep footy anymore. I just checked with Mel whether he'd rung Mel because obviously him and Mel got a great relationship. Part of the World Cup last year. Mel hasn't heard from him, but the one thing Mel did say was if he was to give him some advice, he would say to him, Jack, you're a long time retired. You're a long time retired from rep footy. It's too soon to be turning your back on it. And I got the feeling Mel was pretty disappointed, not so much in Jack for making that decision, but just disappointed that Jack won't be available anymore because I think they're going to have potentially a Four Nations at the end of the year. And Jack was really good on the Kangaroo Tour. Jack was one of the better players in that Kangaroo Tour. So, I think Mel's got a great relationship with him. He's a bit disappointed.
Well, Mel's last ever game of footy was in a Kangaroos jersey, wasn't it? 94 Kangaroo Tour.
Testing me now. You're probably right. Yeah,
94 because
right,
he got offered to play for South Queensland
Yeah.
Crushers and be the captain coach
Yeah.
in 95, and he turned that down because he went, oh, you know what, I had the perfect ending, 94 grand final with Canberra, and then went on that Roo Tour.
So, Mel hasn't heard from him. I'd imagine Jack will ring Mel at some point because, as I said, they've got a good relationship, and I'm sure Mel will give him his opinion and let him know, mate, you could have kept going, son.
Any
Not
other
too late
Mel?
to change your mind. Little one on Hudson Young, the hero of yesterday's game for Canberra. Came up with an unbelievable play at the end of that game. The Raiders were in talks with Hudson Young over contract extension. There was a bit of mail going around that he and Jack Wighton are pretty close and that Hudson was going to hold off on a decision until he found out what Jack was going to do. I'm told by Canberra that's incorrect. They're down the track with Hudson Young on a new deal with him, and they're pretty optimistic he'll stay and sign a long-term deal there.
What's the mail on parties in Augusta? Ready?
They're not all they're cracked up to be, Adam.
To see us out today. So you remember, James, you was all pumped about going to see Paige Sporanich, the what is she? Influencer.
Yeah,
she's
golf, social media influencer.
And yes, very good influencer, very successful influencer.
Yeah.
And she was holding a party. She came out here a couple of weeks ago to see the Manly guys because they share a sponsor. But you got invited to a party and you were like a little kid just about to go to, or teenager, I should say.
I was pretty pumped.
About to go to schoolies.
Yeah.
You were so excited.
It was a bit of a fizzer.
Oh, dear. What happened?
Well, look, there were tables going at this party for 30 grand. Tables of 10. We didn't have one of them, obviously.
No.
But we got there and there just weren't many people there. Just wasn't very...
It was like a fire
busy.
festival.
And Paige, she would come out, take some photos with punters, then go back in the back room. We never saw her.
Really?
Then she'd come out and take some more photos, disappear in the back room again.
Precious.
Yeah. So it was a bit disappointing.
No.
We only stayed 90 minutes.
Did you?
Yeah. Stayed long enough to sample a few of the free beers and left.
So you walked through. What was the level of excitement like when? Just before
the
you
boys
got
were
there?
pretty excited. There was a few of us. We
Who
got
was
Braith and Astor.
You, Braith,
Adam
Gowie.
Pengilly.
Adam
No,
Pengilly.
Gowie didn't come. He's a smart one.
Yeah.
Darren Walton and myself.
Okay.
And we were pretty excited. But when we got there, we were a bit nervous because there were a lot of people outside queuing to get in. And then when we got inside, it was a bit, it was a fizzer.
Oh, well.
Anyway, that's all right. The golf
Can't
was
be all
good.
winners. Just speaking of schoolies, just a quick one, James. What do they do for schoolies in England? Is there such a thing?
No, there isn't. They have like end of year formals and stuff like that, but no schoolies.
But you all go to the pub from age 14 over there anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Come on, I was 12.
Reedy, good to have you back.
Oh, great to be back.
Made it back, and you're just back on the rugby league train all straight
Never
away.
stops, does it?
Never stops. Have you got any other junkets
No.
lined up for the rest
junkets?
of the year? Yeah.
No.
Are you going down to Adelaide for the live golf this weekend?
No, I'm not going, no.
No?
No, well, I
Didn't send
need to
you.
spend some time with the family.
Oh, what a guy. If you got offered to go, would you have gone?
Probably.
Yeah, exactly. James, what have you got on this week?
What have I got on this week? That is a great question.
Who you got in the pod this week?
Yes,
Jimmy?
the buy round.
We had Billy
Billy
Harrigan on last night. He was great.
You would have
Is he
had a
good?
fantastic relationship with him on field, I
Well,
reckon.
we did cover that. He was great, chat. He's a really interesting man, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation with him. I guess some people that the guests we have on, you kind of have a preconceived idea about where the conversation will go, but with him, I learnt a lot, so it was really good.
Oh, nice.
Good stuff. Look forward to
Nice.
listening. Gentlemen, thank you for that. That was the Monday
Thanks,
Scrum. Enjoy your footy.